Hi, Sean. How's it going?
Great, Tiff. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. Well, it's been a busy past day and today for you with Jam.Dev.
For sure. Yeah, we're right in the middle of the conference because we're recording this update on Thursday, so we're in between day one and day two. And yeah, co-hosted this with Brian Rinaldi, and this live event is a partnership between FITC and Certified Fresh Events, and it's been a ton of fun. We've had almost 1,000 registrants and a lot of activity yesterday, and looks to be a full day of content again today. And it's a really fun event. This is the third year that we've done it, and the content is just it's really fantastic. But it all gets syndicated and shared afterwards. So even if you can't make it, check out the Jam.Dev, and we'll post those videos within a few days at least.
Nice. That's awesome. Well, I'll link Jam.Dev down below, and I know the content might not be up there as this is posted, but at least some people can go start checking it out and whatnot. Because I attended for a little bit yesterday, and I know we were speaking earlier about it, and it seems like every speaker is bringing so much value and unique perspective to the conference, which is really great.
For sure. Did you hear anything that caught your attention yesterday?
You know what? I joined, it was around 11 a.m., I think it was, and it was in the middle of a talk. So I'm not going to do it justice by if I summarize it up for what I heard. And I can't even recall. I have to get back to you on that. There was a lot there, but I was in the middle of it and I had it on in the background as I was working. So I need to be one of those
Mm,
people who do full catch ups.
I think that one was looking it up real quick because that was I think that was the opening talk for the whole conference, and it was okay. So the title was "Composable Decoupled Front Ends, which the Jamstack and Beyond." So I really liked that one because it was a great way to kind of kick off the conference. Just like here is the state of affairs in Jamstack architecture, which is a great way to summarize kind of how far we've come from. Yeah, Jamstack is static sites pre-rendered and mostly just deployed to Netlify, and now it can be so much more. So that was kind of a great way to kick it off.
Yeah, exactly. I need to get back in. I'm hoping to listen to more of the conference today. As you know, I was off for the past few days, so I felt like yesterday I couldn't fully be immersed in it, but
For sure.
definitely going to check it out more today. But on that note, I had an icebreaker for us, but I feel like we just caught up a little bit. So let's dive right into it. I know
Okay.
you've been working on something very exciting the last few months, really. I mean, even longer than that, but some updates to it. So I'll let you get into it.
Absolutely. If you want to pull up my screen here, and just so we've got something to look at while I'm chatting, but this is contentlayer.dev, and this is the docs page on the website. So we launched a beta version of Content Layer. I'll make this a little bit bigger so it's a little easier for everyone to see here. There we go. Yeah, how about that? Okay. So we launched the beta version of Content Layer back in April 2022. And the problem we were solving at that time is, well, same problem today, and that is that there's no content loading mechanism for Next.js. A lot of that responsibility is put on the developer. And it's not just Next. Various frameworks have just differing opinions and differing mechanisms for loading content, and whether it's all on the developer or whether the framework is taking full responsibility or something in between. And so we started with a focus on Next and using local files, typically Markdown or MDX files, as the content source. And once we launched that, we've gotten great traction from the community. Lots and lots of folks using Content Layer. It's been a few weeks since I've checked, but believe it's used now in more than 1,000 open source projects. And so lots of usage. It's been really great, and we've gotten a lot of feedback for it. So we released this project as more of a community, an open source community project, helping developers who are working with Next.js. Now, Stackbit also at the time was largely optimized for Next.js. Of course, since then we have expanded and we're supporting pretty much any framework that there is. But we wanted to be able to offer a way to make it really easy to integrate content layer sites into Stackbit and vice versa, and to take Stackbit and load content layer. And you might be wondering, like, why use both? Because don't both of them have something to do with content? And it's true, but they both really play in their own space. So with content layer, it's responsible for handling your schema. It gives you type safe definitions for all the objects that come from your schema. And then it's going to transform that content into data that you can import into your pages and components. And if you want to know more, definitely dive into the getting started tutorial here on contentlayer.dev, because it goes quick, and it takes kind of playing around with it to feel what's going on. But that is something. So content layer is something that you're going to take into production, because it's going to be responsible for loading all that content. Stackbit, on the other hand, plays really no role in the production side of things for your website. It is focused exclusively on providing a top-notch editing environment for folks who are managing and editing the content for your website. And so even though Stackbit deals with content, it deals more with reading and writing the content from the sources, particularly for the purpose of being able to edit or manage that content. And so because of that, we have Stackbit on one side that has schema definitions and requires structured content. And if you're using content layer, you've got this on the other side that also has schema definitions, or structured content with a schema. And we wanted a way for these two things to be compatible with one another, so that if you want to use both, you don't have to define your schema twice. So if you add a new field, you don't have to add it to Stackbit and add it to content layer. And so what we are just about to release is an integration that makes it really easy for content layer configuration to inherit Stackbit configuration. So the way this would work is that you would define your schema with Stackbit in the typical Stackbit way for all you folks, how you're working today, basically. The caveat being that you would define it with JavaScript or TypeScript and not the legacy YAML configuration. And that content layer can then import that configuration, extend it as needed, and it will just work. And it's amazing. So Tiff is working on a demo video and going to release that in the near future. But we're also now exploring what it looks like to move the other direction. So what does it look like if someone who is already using content layer wants to adopt Stackbit? And today they would basically move their schema into Stackbit and then kind of like re-inherit it and re-extend it. And so we're currently actively developing the process, trying to make that process easier. And then we will release another demo when that comes along, also again in the near future. So really exciting stuff. If you haven't checked out Content Layer before, check it out and consider it as a way to make loading content much less stressful as a developer. And that's really it for me this week.
Well, that's a very exciting update, Sean. I'm really looking forward to it. And kind of to echo what you were saying, as I started writing the script for this video you mentioned yesterday, and something that really helped me was the 2 articles, I believe it's in blog, that you wrote on Content Layer. And not only understanding, for me, I always need to know the problem it's solving to really understand the product in its full, I guess you could say. And I feel like those blog posts you have really do a good job of going into the problem and the why around why content layers. So I'll make sure to link the blog down below as well.
Yeah, that's a good call out. That's another good place to start for sure.
For sure. Great. Thank you, Sean. All right, let me remove your screen here. And I'm going to start with some updates on some webinars and events we have coming up. And I feel like I've been talking about these 2 events for a while, but they're finally here, which is Contentstack and Retool. And I'll link them both down below. I'm not going to share my screen for this because I'll share it in a sec here, but in the meantime, I'll link them down below. So Contentstack is happening this coming Tuesday on, I have it written down here, January 31st. I can't believe January is almost done.
Yeah, flew by.
It
Amazing.
really did, too fast. And I'm really looking forward to this. We're really going to be focusing on, it's myself, our CEO, Dan, and then also Nick Barron, who works at Contentstack. And we're going to be not only doing a demo of Stackbit and Contentstack in the works, but also to really diving into workflows and collaboration between developers and the business team. And as we often know, there can be sometimes some friction between those two teams, and then also I'm kind of including marketing in the business team as well for this, but it's going to be a really interesting conversation, and I think everyone's going to bring different perspectives to this webinar. So make sure to tune in for that this coming Tuesday. And the second webinar is Thursday, February 2nd with Retool. So it's going to be myself and the developer advocate at Retool, Christina. And I just got an email from her this morning, actually, because I was asking her, what exactly are you going to be demoing for this? Because we're each going to be demoing. And she's going to be demoing, sorry, let me take a step back here. The purpose of the webinar is to really focus on how to be productive as a developer, meaning, are there areas when we are working in our workflows that we can use tools to help support us and focus on larger parts of our code or more difficult or bigger features, I guess you could say. So for her part of the demo to coincide with that, she is going to be, I won't give it all away, but essentially how you don't necessarily need to build apps from scratch, but how with Retool you can have a starting point and how it can really give you the platform to build quicker. And then for my side with Stackbit, I'm going to be focusing on how developers can implement some different ways to really help the marketing team or content team move faster. And I'll stop there. I don't want to give it all away, but so those are two really exciting events coming up next week.
Yeah, I like that. I have a lot of anticipation for the Retool event in particular, and definitely excited about the Contentstack one as well. But Retool's a tool that I've been wanting to tinker with, and I think that it's going to be really interesting to see what you come up with. And with Stackbit is such an interesting product in because we can maybe able to work with Retool, but also on the surface you say, okay, Stackbit's about visually editing a website, but because of that we have like our core foundation is about being composable and stitching all these different tools and services together. And so it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to be editing something that is going to be publicly consumable also. So I think the exploration that you're going to have in regards to internal tooling and making teams more efficient and figuring out how to use both Retool and Stackbit for solving problems like that is really fascinating. Can't wait to see what you come up with.
Thanks, Sean. Yeah, it was, you know what, I'll be honest with you. It was a challenging, I think for both Christina and myself, it was a unique challenge because oftentimes I think when developers hear the word, tools that will automate part of different workflows or the one word I think we all, or many of us kind of go, oh, I don't know, is low code. So it was interesting because there are so many benefits to specific tools that we're going to be talking about, but it was interesting to navigate it in a way to ensure that we're really highlighting the value that developers can get from these tools. And so, yeah, it was really fun to collaborate with her on that. So I'm looking forward to it. And I think we have right now, I have to check. I checked last week and it was over 200 signups. So that's exciting too.
Oh, wow. This is great. Okay. This can be a big event.
I know the pressure is on.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Actually, speaking about, learning new things and building better and more efficiently. By the time this is posted, we will have a new learning in public out that we focus on. As for those of you who are following along with the series Learning in Public, this is right now we're going through the docs step by step of from getting a Stackbit project up and running to step by step, I guess you could say. And then this week's going to focus on annotations and inline editing. So this will already be published by the time you see this. So I'll link it down below to check it out.
Fantastic. All right. Looking forward to that one as well.
Perfect. And then the last update on my end, let me share my screen here. All right. Can you see my screen, Sean?
I can.
Perfect. Okay. So the last update is we recently released a content, or sorry, let me rephrase that. We recently released a new project that you can utilize as a starting point, which is the Content Ops demo. It's a premium project. So if you are logged into your Stackbit account here, as you can see, I'm going to show you how to get down to it in dashboard. You can simply scroll down, create new project, and then I'm sure if you are already signed up to Stackbit and familiar with the dashboard, I'm sure you have seen our minimal starters. But if you scroll down now, you can see here, as long as you are on a team tier or above, you can see here we now offer a premium website starter. So this is a great place to start if you don't necessarily want to start from a blank slate. We have some of the project set up for you that you can really build upon. And this is something we recently released. I've been playing around with it a lot. It's a great project, so definitely go check it out.
Yes, and I think this is a huge benefit to this new team tier that we released in our pricing structure. So a much more affordable $99 a month, and you get access to this site, which is we took a long time to build this in a way that was composable, but that you wouldn't really have to write any code and could still build a really solid website out of it. But it's again, it's Stackbit, and when it's your site, it's your code. So if you grab this and then you want to bring a developer in, you can take this and continue to build it, customize it however you want. So this is this is a big accomplishment for our team because it's really unlocking a lot of things for marketers, content editors, less technical folks to be able to see all the power of Stackbit, but and also then just pick up a ready-made site and ready to use site that you can just take and run, but still super flexible and customizable. I'm really struggling with the words today.
No, 100% though. It's super interesting. I think it's such a great, even for, I know for myself, like I have always have so many different ideas on things I want to build or different projects I want to make. And I think even for developers, it's a great place to start of rather than starting completely at scratch, but having a base to kind of start with and then building upon it or customizing it from there. Because sometimes, maybe I'm alone, but I spend, quite a bit of time making the base of a project, and then my attention span goes somewhere else to a different project. So this is
Always.
a great
Yeah.
way to, okay, we already have the base. Now it's the fun part, building on features and whatnot. Or, I mean, this comes with a ton of features, but building more. So it's a great thing. So I'll link it down below as well.
Yeah. A lot less time spent on the tooling for sure.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Well, Sean, I think that's all the updates we had for today.
Fantastic. All right.
Thanks, Sean. I'll see you next week.
Sounds great. Bye, Tiff.
Bye.